ocean is vast, endless, and unforgiving. It has swallowed ships, men, and entire civilizations, leaving behind nothing but unanswered questions. But every once in a while, something surfaces, something so strange, so unsettling, that it feels less like history and more like a curse. One such story is that of a ship found drifting in the middle of the sea. A ship perfectly intact, its sails whispering in the wind, yet not a single soul on board. This is the mystery of the cursed ship that sailed without a crew. It all began in the late 1800s. A merchant vessel set sail from Europe, carrying cargo, dreams, and a seasoned crew of sailors who had braved countless voyages. The sea was calm, the skies were clear, and everything pointed toward a successful journey. Days passed without incident until one morning, a passing ship spotted the vessel floating strangely in open waters. At first glance, it appeared fine. No smoke, no distress signals, no sign of danger. But as rescuers drew closer, unease settled in. Something about the ship felt wrong. When they finally boarded, the silence was deafening. Not a single voice, not a single footstep echoed across the wooden deck. Sails were in perfect condition, the cargo was untouched, the captain's cabin was neatly arranged, and on the dining table, meals were still laid out, plates half filled, cups half drained, as if the crew had vanished in the middle of supper. Yet there were no men, no captain, no trace of life. It was as though the sea had simply swallowed them whole. The first theory was piracy. Perhaps raiders had attacked and taken the crew hostage, but the ship told a different story. There were no broken locks, no stolen supplies, no bloodstains, not even a single sign of resistance. Everything was exactly where it should have been except for the people. The second theory was mutiny. Some suggested that the crew might have turned against their captain and abandoned ship in lifeboats. But when the rescuers checked, all the lifeboats were still there, tied and untouched. So where had the men gone? As word spread, darker rumors began to form. Sailors spoke of the Bermuda Triangle and cursed waters where time itself bends. Some claimed the ship had sailed into a fog and never came out the same. Others believed the crew had followed strange lights on the horizon, mysterious, glowing orbs that lured sailors to their doom. And then there were the more chilling accounts, men who swore they heard whispers on the abandoned vessel, faint voices calling from nowhere, and ghostly footsteps pacing across empty corridors. One sailor described how the hairs on the back of his neck rose as he stepped into the captain's quarters. He claimed the room felt alive, as if someone was still there, watching him silently. Another man reported hearing the sound of chains dragging across the deck at night, even though the ship was empty. Terrified, many refused to spend the night on board. They towed the vessel back, but the curse seemed to follow. Strange accidents plagued those who tried to sail it again, until eventually the ship was abandoned altogether. And yet, the legend did not end there. Years later, fishermen reported seeing a lone vessel drifting under the full moon. Its sails glowed faintly in the darkness, and its hull cut silently through the water. But when they tried to approach, it vanished into the mist, leaving behind nothing but waves. Some swore they could hear faint cries carried by the wind. Others claimed they saw figures standing on the deck, frozen in silence, staring out at the sea. To this day, the ship's fate remains unsolved. Was it an accident, a crime lost to time, or something far more sinister? Scientists argue it could have been a sudden outbreak of illness, a gas leak, or even mass hysteria. But these explanations never match the details. Why were the meals untouched? Why were the lifeboats still there? Why did those who boarded later hear whispers and see shadows? The ocean does not surrender its secrets easily, and perhaps this ship was never meant to be understood. Perhaps it was cursed, doomed to sail forever without a crew, a ghostly reminder that some mysteries are better left unsolved. So if you ever find yourself at sea on a foggy night, and in the distance you see a ship drifting silently with no lights, no signal, and no life, remember this story, because some vessels carry more than cargo. Some carry the weight of a curse,